let it bang, bang.
Guys, welcome to the Rolls and Rambles, episode 6. Today with us we have Kiko Cacella and we also have Mike Powers, both head instructors at GSF in Hong Kong. They're also a Rodrigo Medeiros BJJ Revolution affiliate, so it's closely connected with us at Shanghai BJJ. But first of all, thank you Mike, thank you Kiko for coming. I guess the first question is, how did you get into Jiu-Jitsu? Tell me about kind of how Jiu-Jitsu has changed your life in the way that you think it's benefited you. But yeah, start off, where did you guys begin?
Yeah, well, first of all, Kiko's afraid to talk, but I'm going to make him talk. This was supposed to be a podcast of me and then him.
Yeah.
We're doing it together. But
Kiko's got great stories, so you have to get something right.
Yeah, so I'll talk mostly, so I'm not hogging it, but I'm going to draw stuff out of him because he's got wonderful things. And welcome to Hong Kong GSF Academy, guys. Very good.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah. Real quick, I started in Southern California, which is now, I proudly say, not arrogantly, but proudly say, the Mecca of Jiu-Jitsu. And that's not my words, that's Rickson Gracie's words. But why is that? The most talented guys in the world, what do? They're coming over to Southern California. Unfortunately, Brazil's so beautiful, amazing where he grew up. In Rio, they're perfect, but it's so dangerous. There's not the money. So it's a benefit to me. I have this wonderful place in Southern California, in San Diego, where now is the Mecca. But I started 20 years ago, basically 1998, almost a little more. And I got all my belts from our professor, Rodrigo Medeiros. He's a multiple-time world champion. He made all of us champions. But my first year, actually, in Jiu-Jitsu was not with Rodrigo. It was with Vitor Belfort. And Carlos Valente was like his dad. They started this academy. Now, what's interesting about this, the academy that Rodrigo runs today in Pacific Beach is actually where I was training. That was Vitor and Carlos. It was called Left Cross. And so, and then Vitor left after a month. He came and he taught us for a while. Then, hey guys, I'm going to go to Brazil for a month. I'll be back. Guess what? We never saw him again. That was it. So, and him and Rodrigo are very close. So he came. And so my first roots are actually MMA type stuff. Vitor would show us, opening the guard was, you're in closed guard, his hand on the throat, elbows outside, and, blasting someone, they open and falling back to a footlock. So I loved it. And so when I first started, it was with Vitor. And it's interesting, I started because of my youth pastor. He was a blue belt, and he was training, and he's like, I was a pro surfer when I was younger, and he said, look, you're super athletic, you got to do jiu-jitsu. And I'd seen it from UFC, but I get pissed off at UFC. I loved UFC, but at that time I'm like, blast someone in the face. Oh, not this guy on the ground again. You know what I mean? We all were kind of, but then it's like, whoa, this stuff works. And so my youth pastor paid for my first month, and Vitor Belfort lived with him. So when he was here, so we would go to church together. Vitor's a good guy. Vitor would mentor me. We'd drive around together. I mean, a little secrets, you know what I mean? He'd drive away, those hand clamp things? He'd drive around all day. We had this black truck, and we'd go everywhere. I'd go to World's Gym. He'd be training in there. These big bodybuilders, know who he is. And I feel proud, you know what I mean? I got big Vitor. And he's like, hey, don't tell anyone. This is my secret. And he's got this clamp thing. He's like, I drive to Los Angeles and back 2 hours, and when I strike someone, they're down. That's it, So these are my roots in Southern California. There was only a couple black belts in all of Southern California. It was Rodrigo and a couple guys. So I started in the genesis of this thing. And it's an honor. It is an honor that my youth pastor, paid for me to go. Vitor came, then he left, and Rodrigo came to the same academy, took care of us, mentored us. I got all my belts, white to black, with Rodrigo.
That's amazing,
And it's an incredible history. Every world champion came through there. There wasn't the politics. So Andre Gavon was a brown belt. All these guys were my good buddies, training talent. All these guys. I mean, Minotauro Nogueira, Diego Sanchez, Dan Henderson. I got to spar with all these guys and train because of Rodrigo's Academy by the beach. And so my roots are very unique and beautiful from the beginning of San Diego. The question is, what am I doing here in Hong Kong? It's paradise, but I thought I'd come for a year, and here we are. Kiko comes from Rio, Brazil, there on the beach. Tell us about that a little bit, and your inception of starting.
It's like what you say about California in the beginning, and the book started in Rio, and then moved for California, and now we in Hong Kong, and now the book's still open, right? We don't know where to go next.
Right.
We start Leblon with Rodrigo. He has same neighborhood, and I was 92, I was 15 years old. We all surf, and we all was hanging out, and Rodrigo like, look, I'm gonna start teaching jiu-jitsu there, but they are purple belt at the time, him and Toko.
Rodrigo.
Yeah, Rodrigo was purple belt, yeah. Teaching. And also authorized them to teach like young kids.
Right.
That's why we call Nova Geração, so like new generation. So we all young kids and like, Rodrigo, yeah, come train. So all the neighborhood kids go train with them. We all know each other, so it's like family and grow like so much, so beautiful. And that time we have like all the higher guys, belt like Liborio, Murilo, Alan, Junior, they all come visit us, train us, help us to improve. So this was kind of a story that start about Carson come to like bless us. Look, kids, you guys good, then go and train. It was good. It was really fun to be part of the so young.
Yeah.
It's amazing actually how it all connects. So when we did the podcast with Rodrigo, check it out, episode 5. It's amazing how it all connected with, especially Junior and myself, really didn't know so much about how Nova Geração started, and that how you guys began with him at San Diego, and how you began with him back in Brazil. And it's actually amazing how it's all kind of not come full circle, but we've all ended up in the same kind of situation. We started somewhere in Hong Kong.
Yeah, the ball I think starts like small, right, and then growing. It's like snowball, right, and then Rodrigo moved to US, and I follow him to US too. So I have a chance to see US also growing, like Mike. We in La Habra, like, man, like Orange County, like very, very local neighborhoods, like very cholo ghetto. Like,
that's how you say it. Ghetto.
No, and it's like, man, it was an amazing time. I lived in Academy for 6 months. I lived there as a brown belt.
Yeah.
So you guys meet in the US as well then?
Yeah.
We've known each other since the beginning. He was in Brazil and LA and all that, but just Rodrigo's students, we like, it's family. You know what I mean? And what was very interesting is when we came out to Hong Kong and Epic and do all the things that we did. Well, here's what's interesting. I never considered jiu-jitsu as a career path, as a professor full-time. I was teaching at night with Clark Gracie and with Rodrigo, but in the day I was in the corporate world. I was a pro surfer, and I didn't make much money because I wasn't the best guy. Made a little bit of money, got to travel on the world, being Surfer Magazine and all the videos and things like this. But it's very hard. It's so competitive. They're so good. But it opened up opportunities for me to be a sales rep as Rip Curl. So I represented Rip Curl for Southern California. All of a sudden, the young 20s, I'm making well over $100,000 US.
Wow.
I never went to university. You know what I mean? My dreams were, I don't care about education. I'm going to follow my heart and my talents. I want to be a surfer, period.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage people as well. Look, follow your heart and your dreams. It doesn't always mean you're going to make money. But what it does mean is find the industry, like-minded people, find your passions, and then you will find money and you'll find your purpose. And so I never expected jiu-jitsu to be a career path. It's something I love to do. As purple belt, I won Pan American for the first time. Like, whoa. And it got a little more serious, and Rodrigo and Clark, we were teaching together as purple belts. Clark left, and we were under Rodrigo and Clark's father and teaching. And then years later, I got my black belt, and Rodrigo made this offer saying, hey, I'm going to Hong Kong. I want to offer you a job to go to Hong Kong. The first thing is I'm like all Americans, like, I'm not going to Japan, dude. Like, right? And he's like, no, China, bro, China. I'm like, oh, that's even worse. I'm a Christian. They're communists. They're going to kill me, dude. Like, He's like, no, Hong Kong's different. The British had it and this and that. Rod, all respect, I take a grain of salt with what he says a lot of times, right? I know he's just trying to get a buddy out there to surf and hang out. And so I asked my friend, Seth, it's a missionary actually, that was out here in China and Hong Kong. I know he's going to tell the truth. He's a man of God, right? Yeah. So I say, Seth, look, I got an offer, but I'm making over $100,000 US. I make my own hours. I'm in the surf industry. I'm not going to leave Southern California. This is paradise. And I said, but in 2008, I actually lost everything. I lost my marriage, my job, my home. I had a beautiful 3-story condo in La Jolla, all these things. No kids, nothing. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will. So I asked my friend Seth, what's Hong Kong like? You lived there for. He's like, hey, bro, it's actually amazing, man. I'm like, really? He's like, no, it's more modern than any city that we have. I'm like, really? And he says, also, there's really hot chicks there. I'm like, tell me more. He's like, yeah, they're like this Chinese mix with like a British accent. I'm like, wow, how long's the flight? Right? Let's do this. So that was the first kind of inception of me considering it.
Yeah.
And then I said, look, Rod, I make a lot of money, man. I'm not going to leave to do this. He's all. So we talked to one of the owners and the guys, and he said, look, we can get it to pretty much you're making almost 100,000 US again.
Yeah.
You basically get a salary around 70,000 US dollars. You work 1, 2, 3 hours a day, maybe 2 hours a day. And if you do PTs, you're well over 100 grand.
Yeah.
And this wasn't correct, but he said, and you don't pay taxes the first 2 years. I'm like, what country do not? You don't. What he didn't understand is you don't pay taxes until 2 years, and then I got blasted. So, but it's okay. It's all.
Once you get into the system.
Yeah, I feel it was God's plan to get me out here.
Yeah.
So I came out, and one of the things really why I did it is because Kiko was going to come out as well. I trust Kiko, love Kiko, Rodrigo as well. We're family, we're friends, all that.
Because you were part of the initial crew of instructors.
Yes,
right?
with Silvio as well. I didn't know Silvio, but I talked to him. He's funny. He's grumpy, humor, funny Brazilian, right? We love him. So I felt like, you know, it's his family. I'm going to do 1 year.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 1 year and say, you know what, try it out. Maybe there is a girl with a British accent out there. Right? And so Kiko came out, and what was your first, you know?
I can't. It was February, right?
Yeah, what were your thoughts on this whole thing? Where were you at the time before you came?
I was in Miami. Then Rodrigo came to do a seminar. I was at Carson Grace, Miami. And I had my academy there, but like I say, like U.S. economy is really bad. Everything's not going well at the time, like 2012. And he offered like, look, have a chance to go to Hong Kong. And like I say, like every time I say, go to Hong Kong, man, what are you doing? Did you go to Japan? Like Brazil? Like, no, man. And I start searching what Hong Kong is. I'm like, good. It's like, I like challenge you. Like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And that time I want to be with Rodrigo again together and have a chance to be a Mike. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Did you have the same kind of idea? I'm just going to try it out for a year or two and see how.
The idea is for 1 year, 2 years.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at that time I just stayed 1 year.
Yeah.
Because I have some family problem.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it was an amazing time. Like when I get here on the Rodrigo, I was the first one arrived, and right after Mike arrived too. Like
Because the gym opened in March, something like that.
yeah, gym was under construction.
Yeah.
And Silvio went to the airport. Like, man, Silvio was amazing. Like, get us, show us. Like, thank him. Like, for everything, even like for the nightlife party. He showed me everything here. So it was amazing. Hong Kong is amazing. And then I get, but it's like for me, like I'm from Rio, and like I see the favelas and this. So for me, he's look like a favela, but for rich people.
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of alias, ghettos, this and that, but it's very safe.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get in a hotel in Rodrigo, like we shared and like, hey, how they look like? I'm like, man, look like a favela, but like buildings all over the place. And like it's amazing. It's like how like safe, how people's nice, how we build a team here, and thank God like the team is still good,
here.
you know, still here, you know, and just grow. Like amazing.
Kiko was my first roommate, actually.
Yeah, we
So,
lived together.
first
too.
3.5 years, and look, I was a beach guy. I know nothing about the city. And he had a little bit of a head start on how to do the metro system, the MTR system. I had no clue. Look, I've been in my 4Runner car my whole life, AC, my own radio, my own thing,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm looking at grumpy taxi guys driving like, and I'm pissed off, right? But Kiko helped me a lot, and I never walked in I hate walking. Now I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But he's used to walking, and
yeah.
every day I'm like, dude, we're walking in the
Yeah, the
freaking
bus.
heat. I hate it, bro.
The
So
bus
every
for-
day,
the
from
bus for
Epic
the
to my
bus.
home, it's close. I take a taxi. I don't care.
Oh, the building have a bus, right? Remember?
Yeah, we had a bus at our
There was
building
a
as
bus,
well.
a
We had a
bus.
nice place up in mid-levels. You know, we're living
yeah,
in
it's really
the
nice.
Beverly Hills of Hong Kong, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah.
Rodrigo's supposed to get the apartment. Right?
Yes.
But then he decided
we had
to go
3
to Discovery
rooms,
Bay.
you know, one
Oh.
open room for people to come.
It was
Epic was
amazing.
very good to us
Yeah.
in the inception of this whole thing. And you know, it's funny. The beginning of it is a project, and I wore the shirt as a. Now that it's out of business, you know, I designed this shirt actually with grips.
Oh.
Yeah.
Collectible now.
The first shirt that came was like kind of this European neck. Luca brought it, and I'm like, Luca, bro, people don't wear that. It's like a girl's like little blouse thing, you know. So I brought some samples because I was in the clothing industry
Yeah.
and rip curl and all this stuff for a
Yeah.
long time, and so I designed this.
Nice.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, so here we are in the beginning. Kiko's helping me out, and the inception of the beginnings of the whole Epic thing were very unique. I mean, we spent millions of dollars in this beautiful gym in the heart of Hong Kong. 1 million people walking by the doors every day.
Yeah.
1 million people. Okay, it's incredible. And it's just funny. It's a great crew in the beginning. Everything's fine, and we actually had some very funny stories of people coming in, challenging us, just like the old school stuff. Yeah, we had we had one guy come in and
Kung Fu
this guy was monkey kung fu jiu-jitsu or something.
Whoa.
And if you guys, he went to our sales girl, Leona. If you guys know Leona, she's a black spicy girl you don't talk crap to, right? And this guy's coming in, he's like, I'm here for a month. I want to work for your gym. I'm going to teach my martial art. And none of your instructors can submit me. And Leona's like, oh, really? So, she comes over and she's like, hey, this mother, says he no one can. I'm like, oh, okay. Because he wants to do, look, all respect. He came in, he wanted to do the MMA class. And at the time, you had to qualify. It was just us training the MMA guys like Vusi and all them.
Right.
You had to qualify. If you don't know ground fighting, you don't know. You can't do it.
Yeah,
There's no stand-up. You're worthless to us. We can't do it in respect.
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, I want to do jiu-jitsu, the MMA program. We said, well, first you have to go to Muay Thai class and qualify, and then jiu-jitsu, and then the instructors say, you qualify. He's like, no, all right, I'll go to jiu-jitsu. But none of your instructors can submit me, just hire me. He tells us all this stuff. And it's monkey kung fu jiu-jitsu something.
Yeah.
And he's a big guy.
Big dude, yeah.
He's like 100 kg, about 200-something pounds. Shorter but stocky.
Like a Hong Kong local guy.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know where he's from. He had a little Asian in him.
Asian.
Okay.
Looks similar to you. Might have been you. He lost some weight. And he came in and he came into the class. We knew this. He kind of had a little bit of attitude. And so I'm like, look here. And I was running the MMA program in the beginning at the time. And so I said, look, here's what we're going to do. You need to qualify for it. So I'm going to give you our smallest black belt. His name's Kiko. Okay, he's smaller, and we just need to see, because you got to help us out and all that. So he's out there, and obviously you guys know what happens. Like we've had, and there's beautiful martial arts. I'm not disrespecting any martial art. There's beautiful qualifications that come out of all of them. But the guy had no ground skills at all.
Yeah.
It was, the first 30 seconds, Kiko choked him out. The next 30 seconds, an armbar. The next 30 seconds, choked him again. A 5-minute round, he got 3 minutes. He was tired. He came to the side. He comes and sits next to me, just like this. He's like, wow, that's really humbling. I haven't had that happen to me before. And I said, because you don't know MMA and you don't know jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, you have to come in like anybody does. I don't come into karate with a black belt. I come with a white belt humble. And I'm going to come into the class, start learning the martial art. It's fine. You can do MMA later. You have something valid for maybe stand-up, or I don't know what the martial art was. But he'd been training 20 years. He's a legitimate person. He wasn't bluffing.
Yeah.
But what happens is, like the beginning of UFC, people don't understand the legitimacy of martial arts concerning jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Now, I want to address something here too. And I think as professors, and you're a black belt as well, and him and you as a brown belt now, and you starting out in this whole thing, we have to preserve the martial art.
Yeah.
There's two different things we have to differentiate. We have to differentiate between sport jiu-jitsu and real jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
People are saying now, oh, jiu-jitsu. No, real jiu-jitsu, how did it start? It started with the UFC. It started with the Gracies. So we have a responsibility to honor them and preserve the martial arts, in my opinion. That's what we do with our students. Our beginners class at 6:30, it has a lot more striking in it. It has more principles of this. As they get purple and above, I expect them to already know how to defend themselves. And in my opinion, jiu-jitsu should be around two things primarily. Number one, the takedown. Number two, the submission. And when we see competition, and I'm not griping against IBJJF, I'm a multiple-time champion. I do this stuff. I love this stuff. I got third in the world a couple years ago. That's not good enough, so I want to get first this year. This is my goal. I want to be a world champion. And I love it, but the rules are geared to taking away from the validity of the martial art. So it should be, like Hickson's got a new organization. I love it. He's talking more about rewarding people more for what? The submission. So for example, I think it's like, if you almost get a submission, you get like 3 points. Like if you get a takedown, you get rewarded, opposed to if you get a sweep, you get 2 points.
Yeah.
So we have to preserve, as martial artists and whoever's watching, preserve it, because we don't want it to be like karate or kung fu, the way it is now.
Yeah.
I'm sure in the beginning it was more legitimate than it is now. but it just gets spread out, and it can't.
It's way more focused on the
Too much
self-defense.
rules now, too much detail, right? In the beginning, like when I start, like it's no reversal. This is a sweep, but you get 2 points. You need a hook. If you don't have a hook, you don't get a point.
Right.
Like even reversal, no points. Like you have to get a hook. That's why it's a lot of butterfly, like good this.
Yeah.
So the evolutions come, but I think they put too much rules. Well, of course, it's good. It's good for a point, but it's bad for right. You're never gonna put like everybody happy, you know, to consider. But yeah, it's now you cannot hold anymore, right? It's growing so fast.
I mean, you can think from the IBGS point of view, they're trying to maybe make it so that more people actually just want to tune in, so they get more advertising dollars or whatever, right? But you're absolutely right that you should never take away from the self-defense aspects of the sport, right? And that's where it will
Well, here's the problem as well. As a spectator, you brag to your family and friends, I'm a black belt or I'm a blue belt, whatever you are, you go compete. And they come, they're like hearing about this superior martial art, and then they watch two guys hugging on the ground.
Yeah.
Look, and it's not that I'm saying it's not technical, it is. We appreciate it, but the truth is they're looking at it, so how is that defending yourself? So competition is supposed to preserve the initial intentions of the martial art, which is UFC. Close as you can without hurting each other, whatever, right? So you do less rules, in my opinion. Like, what's a remedy against this? Submission only. But what happens is you have a problem with people allowing each other to pass the guard now, and they're kind of... So what's the best rules? I was thinking about what Hickson's talking about, and I think I developed the best rules so far, and I wish someone would do something like this. I'm not the best, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about it. Here it is. The whole game should be around the takedown, because you got to take them down to get the submission, and the submission. So you reward people according to the rules. Then you're going to see action. So if it's 2 points for the takedown, 2 points for almost submission. If you submit them, of course, it's done. They win. But instead of getting an advantage, like it's legitimate. It's not just someone frivolously pulling on the gi, and you almost get a submission. You get 2 points.
Yeah.
Instead of an advantage. Everything else, you get 1 point. Good. You pass the guard, 1 point. You get the back, 1 point. You mount, 1 point. You sweep, 1 point. Why? The legitimacy of the martial art is the takedown and the submission. This is what makes it exciting. So you reward people according to this, they'll do it.
Yeah.
The reason people are sitting in 50-50, waiting till the last 10 seconds, and doing a sweep for the advantage and winning world titles, and then thinking like this is great, which they're following the rules. There's nothing against them.
Right.
They're not doing anything wrong.
That's the way they laid it out today.
And it's very technical. I'm not saying it's not. I love it and appreciate it. But how can we preserve the martial art, us together?
Yeah.
I believe it's 2 points for the takedown. You got to secure it for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And 2 points every time you go for a submission. It's legitimate. For example, I love footlocks. If someone's in open guard and they're on their back kicking, and I fall back to a footlock, and he sits up, I get an advantage, and he gets 2 points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I being reprimanded for something that I wouldn't
he's
take
in
a
a lot of
chance?
danger,
Yeah.
right?
And it's all about the submission.
Yeah.
And he simply comes up defending. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Jiu-Jitsu go submit, right? Finish the fight.
So-
this make us
Exactly.
different, right, to anyone else.
Exactly. That same situation should be this. I see the footlock. I fall back. It's a legitimate threat,
Yeah.
not just falling back. He sits up. I get 2 points for almost submitting him. He gets 1 point for coming up. There's the answer to this in some degree. I know there's much
so
more
they,
to
they
it.
still don't get like penalised for defending themselves correctly.
No,
right?
you
But
still get rewarded.
but you put them in that position.
That's
so
right.
Also,
you should get a
defense
higher
is a
reward.
part of the game too.
Right,
You
yeah,
need to be a
absolutely.
good defender,
Right,
right?
100%.
It's
And
like-
that's also the fear of a lot of competition matches. If you want to go for a footlock, you're afraid of doing you're afraid of kind of getting the footlock and falling onto
Yes.
your back to try and finish,
Right.
because you know if you lose it,
You're
you've
gonna
got 2 points
potentially-
against
yeah,
you.
you could be against
and
you.
you're like, well, I was legitimately trying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's very interesting, actually. I think that would change the whole audience aspect a lot, because people would see that they're trying to go for a
And
submission
I think
constantly.
the time also too. 10 minutes is too long.
It's long. It's long.
No, for TV, for selling TV, I think it should be like 6 minutes for everybody.
Yeah, because even if you want to watch
'Cause 6
like
minutes
one
is a good
black belt
time.
bracket, you have to spend an hour just for
Exactly,
one
yeah.
bracket.
Like judo, I think, like get something good and the other martial arts working. add on the jiu-jitsu competition, I think it would be good for us.
I guess the reason it has to be that long is because it's so technical right now, right?
But yeah,
and
but
like one sweep will win you it.
But like
so you
today,
spend like
yeah.
9 minutes setting up a sweep and then
Yeah,
bam.
you're gonna-
these days,
you're gonna-
people say, "Oh man, this 50-50 in this 10 minutes." Yeah, it's not good. It's not
Yeah.
good, right? But we all know it's kind of technical. Who knows? It's technical. Like
For sure.
old times, man, black belts half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
They took 5 minutes to move a little bit,
Right.
but we know it's like it's very technical. But people watch it like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
They
those
just want us to do
but we
something,
all know,
right?
we know, like like move a little bit, like man, you're gonna fight like Valid all the time. Like the guys, they smash, they wanna hold you and like take the chance to go. They don't rush.
Right.
So this used to be the time, no limit. You know, it's like
Yeah.
now, I think maybe different, maybe super fight would be nice, 10 minutes. But for competition, like 6 minutes for
So there's more incentives to
TV
go
and
for it,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, your idea of the higher the reward for an attempt of
Yeah.
People go, it's like we're children. Look,
Yeah.
it's a reward system.
Yeah.
The children are, look, if I tell the kids, for example, all right, guys, and luckily Kiko's wonderful. He teaches the kids now. I don't do that anymore. He's awesome. I love him, but it's kids. Kids are like the perfect birth control, the kids class, right? I get a little dose 1 hour. I'm like, it's like a puppy. All right, take him home. But it's a reward system. I tell the kids, all right, touch your toes when we're stretching.
Yeah.
They don't do it. They don't. The 5 and 6 year olds. They don't listen. But if I say, who here thinks they can touch their toes? Let me see who can touch. Then it's a different, and adults are the same. It's a reward system. I want to be world champion. You say I just got to wait 10 minutes to the last second, get a 50-50 sweep. They're going to do that, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm a world champion.
Right.
So
It means a lot more these days, right? People getting
does.
sponsorships and teaching.
So we have to figure out this way to preserve it. Like when I started jiu-jitsu, it was with Vitor and Professor Carlos Valente.
Oh, yeah.
It was UFC oriented,
Yeah.
right? And so, like for example, I have a wonderful story. This is so classic. But this is what I came out of as a white belt. And Vitor one day, at the academy that Rodrigo teaches today, he actually owns the building now. It's wonderful. I've been there actually longer than Rodrigo in that academy, longer than anybody, because Vitor was there. And one day Vitor comes to the class, and it's just a room of white belts. I mean, there's like 14 or 16 of us white belts, and we're in awe. It's Vitor Belfort. He knocked out Vanderlei Silva. He's a hero in the UFC the way he is today. And he comes in and he's like, all right, guys, we're going to teach here. And Samuel, one of the white belts, he's a Brazilian kid. He comes up, and I think since he was Brazilian, the rest of us are Americans, he thought he had a little something with Vitor. He's like, Professor Vitor, I'm going to be a professional fighter. I will be a professional. And Vitor, I think he's trying to impress him in us, but Vitor wasn't impressed. He's like, Samuel, do you want to be a professional fighter? He's like, yes, Professor. He's like, come over here and get on your knees. So Samuel walks over and he gets on his knees, and all of us white belts are standing around watching, what's going on. Yeah. And Vitor, so he's on his knees. Vitor comes down and gets on his knees, and they're face to face at an arm's distance. And they're staring at each other. Vitor doesn't say anything. He's just intently looking at him. And he said, Samuel, do you want to be a professional fighter? He's like, yes, Professor. And he goes, slap me in the face as hard as you can. And he's like, oh, no, Professor, I could never do that, And, we're sitting there and it's quiet. He's like, slap me in the face as hard as you can. So Samuel tried to pull it off by doing a little fake,
Yeah.
And he's like, is that what you have? Yes. You want to be a professional fighter? Yes, Professor. Wow! He smacked his face, lit him up. And Samuel's kind of seeing stars a little bit. He's kind of out of it. And all of us are looking like, oh my gosh, this is the best front seat ever in the UFC. Vitor Belfort just smacked the crap out of Samuel. It was great. I wanted to shout out with glee, but I didn't say a word, right? And so then again he says, Samuel, you want to be a professional fighter? He's like, yes, Professor, right? He's like, then slap me in the face again as hard as you can. If you don't slap me, I'm going to punch you in the face. You understand me? Yes, Professor. And Samuel slapped Vitor hard. Whack! Smacked him.
Yeah.
And Vitor loved it. He was so happy. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You still want to be a professional fighter? Yes, and boom, no hesitation. Lit him up. And Samuel almost passed out. He's sitting there. He kind of passed out a little bit. And, all of us white belts are sitting there like, whoa, this is insane. Vitor Belfort looks up, stands up, looks at all of us, says, anyone else want to be a professional fighter? I'm like, no, I'm good. I got a white belt. I'm cool, bro. But what was he trying to teach us that day? We're looking at Vitor with the stars and all this stuff of being a hero and a superhero. Samuel's thinking like, I want that. He's trying to teach us self-discipline.
Yeah.
That's what we're teaching people in life, not just in a fighting sense. In your business, your family, all of these things. Vitor implemented those from the beginning. What's a world champion mentality mindset? It's pain. You need to embrace the pain of discipline. Do you have it or not? And secondly, I'm writing a book right now, 7 Steps to Empower Your Life. These are some of the principles. You need to surround yourself with black belt champions in your life, whether that's in health, fitness, your career, relationships, jiu-jitsu, And so Vitor understood that. You want to be a black belt, you got to hang out with black belts. You know what I mean? I did a TED Talk, and I talk about this basically. Look, you want to get good at golf? Imagine you set a goal of golf, and you say, 1 year, I'm going to be disciplined, I'm going to golf my butt off, and I'm going to be amazing after a year. You'll get good. But imagine if you hung out with Tiger Woods. He said, I'm going to mentor you for 1 year. Imagine how much, exponentially better. You would get much, much better.
Yeah.
And so this is a principle in life that I learned from the very beginning of, with Vitor Rodrigo Madeiras, a multiple-time champion. And so I find different people in these areas. Ito Portal, he came to Epic in the beginning. I didn't know who he was. We see this guy, after class I teach, and he'd be in the back and the side where the Muay Thai guys, no classes. This dude's doing these like weird aerial flips. I thought it was some crazy dude. I'm like, oh, he thinks he's a ninja, and he's flipping around. He's not, didn't talk to anyone. He's nice.
Yeah.
He never spoke to anyone, even looked at them. But that's how gurus do it, right? They just, they don't go get disciples. Disciples come to them. So I'm like, wow, he's really athletic. So I said, hey, how are you? I'm Mike. I'm a professor here. He's like, hi, I'm Ito. He's very polite. Turns out he's like, some of the guys are like, that's Ito Portal. Like, this is before Conor McGregor and all that, him coaching him. No one knew. This is 7 years ago. And he ended up being with us for a year. We hired him for a while, him and his trainers. And he mentored me in health a lot. I mean, the day that I started at Epic 7 years ago till today, my health issues are much different. Health benefits of what I'm doing in terms of what I eat and all this. Everyone knows me as the cheeseburger guy. I still eat cheeseburgers all the time, but I eat more like good beef. I mean, I have a lot of trouble gaining weight. I can eat whatever I want and I have a six-pack. It's just my metabolism. It's a good problem.
Yeah.
But I'm always trying to gain weight. So every day after class, I'd go get like a Big Mac and I get a Haagen-Dazs shake and LKF, Belgian chocolate shake.
Yeah.
But the problem is I'm getting older now. And so inflammation filled my body. I'm getting injured more. I don't know why. And I'm less energy. And it was that. And Ito Portal, a mentor, a black belt, that's my whole point of this. He started saying in terms of why I'm getting injured. He's like, you're like this piano. The strings are so tight and out. Of course you're getting hurt. Look at you. Look at your back. And then we would walk to go eat. And he would eat burgers, but he'd eat no bread. And he'd have like good organic type, very good meat and all that. And so as professors, my point is this. What did Vitor teach me? What did Professor Rodrigo... I mean, he was a kid basically on the streets, hang out in Rio, and Rodrigo mentored him.
Yeah, Vitor was training us.
Yeah, Vitor was one of them.
Was part of the Nova Geração. He was 2 years young.
And Carlson was like your father, right? Carlson Gracie.
No, but the fun, like you say, life is sacrifice, right? Like sacrifice, I mean, like, we in the Nova Geração, we never imagined gonna keep that big, like UFC. I'm here in Hong Kong, Rodrigo, US, and Carl, like that jiu-jitsu that explode. Yeah. We know it's good, but we don't know how big
it was gonna get.
Yeah. And Vitor at that time, he's really good. He's also always a phenomenal 13 years old kid. He need to get like a blue belt at 14 years old. He had to be a blue belt after 16, but he's too good. He cannot fight like young guys. So he's like yellow belt, like this big kid. And we all like a family, a good time. And he make a big step in his life when he decided to move to Carson Grace headquarters. What's the point? That time he's like, okay, I want this for my life, my career. So that time he's like, we like, oh man, why Vitor left? Let's do this. We don't understand, right? But he have a focus. His goal is like, I want to be a fighter. I want to be, and then, the sacrifice worth. He and all the guys, like the Carson Grace team, was amazing. Like, man, just to watch these
like
guys.
saying, like even if you have that kind of talent, like Vitor clearly had something, right?
You need
and
to.
he had the drive, but you still got.
You still need to go. You need to.
Yeah.
Then they move to US. Yeah. Like, man, you move from Brazil to US is a big step.
Yeah.
No, you don't know English. Like,
or your family
different
back
culture.
home.
Your family's back, and you need like You need to prove every day, I believe like 95, 90 something. You need to prove every day against everybody.
Right.
People step in academy, oh, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
Okay,
guy
show
wants
me.
to come and
All right,
smash
do
you.
whatever you want, I do whatever you, okay, take it down. Oh, I love it, go, let's go.
Right.
It was funny, that was good, it's really nice. I have what's funny at the time, I was a brown belt in 98, 99, I don't remember. And my English was no English at all. And I have my friend Dave, Soup Dave, helped me a lot. Rodrigo helped me a lot. Pipira was another friend in the academy. So then, it was 98. Then it was World Cup. I just arrived in US. And Rodrigo, look, right, you stay, I go to Brazil and watch the World Cup. I'm like, what? Yeah, don't worry, you take care of the academy. I'm like, all right, good. So they went, they left. So I have this guy, I don't know, you met Manzo? Yours Manzo?
so.
Man, he's a guy, he's a big Mexican guy, really athletic. His mom's a yoga teacher. So he's a big guy doing backflip.
Wow.
He just step in the academy, hey, look, I want to train, like I like to enjoy jiu-jitsu, this, I'm a wrestler. I'm like, okay, right, let's do it. And then, like I say, that time, man, you need to train. Like, okay, let's go train. Fuck, this guy's a monster.
Right.
So we train, and like one of the things I learned in jiu-jitsu, special people don't know wrestler or don't know jiu-jitsu, they lean over us, right? And we are like a ball in the bottom.
Right.
So you lean over your ball, you're gonna bounce and then go,
Flip
it over. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be like a ball in the bottom. So he come over and I flip him, got the mount, arm bar. He's like, what the heck? He's small. I'm like, I'm in, good. So he started training us. Man, that guy turns a monster. After 1 year, 2 years, no way I can do this anymore.
Yeah, of course.
That guy like, go to the academy, go to the competition, blue belt, we know his division, open division, he gonna score. Then he trained with Vitor, he trained with Murilo, he trained all the guys like, and there's a guy like, come from nowhere and people don't know that much, but he helped a lot of people and like, man, with us, like, oh shit. Like after he get really good, he don't pass around. I tell you, like he rape you and get aside and like kill off.
Yeah.
That's it, over. That's it. So be careful your arm. Everybody go train. Oh, be careful your arm. Don't let you rank too much. But nice guy ever, very nice guy, very humble. And like, man, thank you. This is amazing. Well, how jiu-jitsu changed.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting about jiu-jitsu is that once you try it, I mean, you get cemented,
yeah.
right? It's like, oh, do that again. It's like,
Yeah.
I
It's
wanna
like
see-
magic. You don't
Yeah,
believe it,
it's like,
right?
whoa, yeah.
You're like, that won't happen again. It was a mistake.
Yeah, I'll see this happening now. Yeah. And then again and again.
Yes.
That's how it attracts you.
Yeah.
The it's kind of the act of being beaten, and you don't know how it's happened.
Exactly.
And you want to figure out how it happened. So I want to be able to do it. And then someone else beats you with something else. Like, well, how did you do that? I want to try and do it.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many, all of us, big guys have come in, whether they're bouncers or rugby guys or professional black belts and this and everything.
Yeah.
And you guys know, if they haven't done jiu-jitsu, or even if they've done it only a year or 2 years, or they're a baby in our hands.
I remember you
And
saying
it's,
this in
it's
the
amazing.
beginning, yeah.
It's amazing, incredible. But when you start, you're a baby in their hands.
Yeah.
So you have to earn it. There's no world champion that came on, Bushesha, Hodger Gracie, none of them that came good. We all had to earn it, right? Not 1 year, not 2 years. No, look, you had to earn it. Now, BJ Penn became good exponentially faster. I mean, basically 4 years, got his black belt and became a world champion. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
You have two things. Number one, he's very talented. Obviously, he's a UFC world champion. And number two, he did the hard work, because they did a study. The average for someone to get a black belt, it's a little sooner now, it was 12 and a half years. BJ Penn did 12 and a half years of work on the mat. Why? I've heard the things talk about, if he was going to learn an arm bar, he would do it 1,000 times. Now listen, as professors, we have our guys do it. All right, do it 10 times. Now imagine if your student did that arm bar 1,000 times. You did the same 12 years on the mat, but you did it in a 4-year period. Plus you have talent.
Yeah.
Plus you're driven. Plus you're crazy for fighting. And so my whole point is there's no shortcuts, whether you're Bushesha or me, or it doesn't matter. You are going to earn it. So everyone you see that's even just a blue belt, they have earned that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's respect there. So when people come in, they don't understand that. And they come from other martial arts, or they're professional football players or whatever. doesn't really matter how big. They're a baby in our hands. Why is that? I say this to my students when they start. If a student is about 6'5", I don't know what that is in centimeters or whatever. He's super tall. And you take him down, how tall is he? He's about 1.5 feet, 2 foot. If a guy's 8 feet tall and you take him down, how tall is he? You neutralize the fight. So this is obvious. What people don't understand is, it was an accident, you got the arm. Oh, you choked me out. No, it will happen over and over again. And in fact, usually they do their best in the first 60 seconds. After you start getting in their mind, they get worse and worse and worse. You submit them, not physically, but mentally. And this is what's so beautiful about it. And this starts to teach you these principles of life, of taking your obstacles and how to submit them. Don't look up to your obstacles. Look down on them, right? Everyone has challenges. You have to take them down, and you look down at those things. And I was thinking about something real quick about Vitor. When he would mentor me, he would drive around, we'd talk about stuff and all that. And we were both strong Christians, so we had a real connection. And he lived with my youth pastor, so I'd be hanging all the time. But he said that when he was 15, he used to draw a circle, I think it was 15, draw a circle in the sand at Rio, and he was already a gnarly fighter. And he'd throw money in the thing and have the adults at the beach say, I mean, you're 15, right? Big adults. And Rio guys, you know what I mean? These are athletic, strong fighters. He'd say, all right, whoever comes in, I have money here, we'll fight for the money. And he said that's how he used to make money. He'd fight the adults for money, and that was kind of his upbringing of getting ready for UFC. I mean, you see him with Tank Abbott in the old days, which was the hero. Then you see Vanderlei, and then until today. And you see this young kid, you know what I mean, with this disciplined mindset, with talent. Because you can have all the talent in the world you want. And in fact, in surfing and in life, sometimes the most talented guys, it's the worst curse for them. They get lazy, they get insecure. If they lose once, it's usually they do this number 2. Watch out for him. You know what I mean? And so you can't just have talent. You have to have the passion. You have to have the discipline. And you need the mentorship. You have to have black belts around you. And we hear all this talk every day. I'm tired of hearing, I work hard, man. I work hard. Good for you. I work smart. You understand? It's good to work hard. It's like you see a forest, and the guy's out there chopping the forest down with an axe. He worked hard. Good. He should get respect for that. Then you see a guy with a chainsaw doing the same amount of work and cutting down 10 forests. And this is what we want to do in jiu-jitsu. Don't look on YouTube to learn, aside from your black belt professor and these types of things. This is the same with every area of life. You know what I mean? But Vitor said from the beginning, did he do that? Did he make a circle in the sand? And they did all kinds of crazy stuff.
90s,
Wild West.
I think that's why it was jiu-jitsu is good, because you go to the academy, it's like, man, it's a completely different story. You rumble.
It's a
I
fight,
did
right?
judo. I thought, I'm like, oh, I know I can do it. I went jiu-jitsu. I tap I'm like, what the heck's there, man? I go back. Like say training. I think the most time I trained was the beginning, because you're so much passion and you're young and like, man, I go to school, I go jiu-jitsu. And go jiu-jitsu, and like it was amazing.
Did you ever think that jiu-jitsu would be your career path? Did you say, was there a certain point when you began, or a certain point you said, this is going to be my career, I'm going to be a professor one day? Did you ever picture?
No. I think that what happened at the academy there, because we all young and we're so close to Rodrigo and Toko. As soon as I get my blue belt in 3 months, I was training like crazy. And then we got one competition, and it's funny because I compete against one of my best friends today, and he's really good. And he's like, oh, it's not fair. You train for 3 months. I train for 2 months. I'm like, come on, man. we are buddies. We like best friend, my brother. So that competition was like amazing. It's like, then we fought twice, and I finished, and Rodrigo was like, oh no, we're gonna get a blue. I'm like, okay. Then right away I was competing, but also Rodrigo and Toko put us, me and Buyu special, to help them to teach the other kids. So I was more, I didn't know, but preparing myself to be a teacher. Because basic, we like, hey, new kid come, show him. Choke, Americana, armbar. It's basic. This was Carson Grace.
Yeah, a lot, right?
I don't think you can see, you don't go any other academy, I don't know. But Carson Grace start like this. First class is not like, oh, you're gonna pass it right. No, you're gonna show you. Choke, submission, right. Americana, armbar. So with this, how we're doing it. So same time I show them, I also teach myself. So I make myself better, right? So this way, I think we build and we help and growing so much, and brown belt, black belt. After I get my black belt, my first year, I start teaching a social project we had in Rio for kids in favela. We have like 5 favelas, almost 1,000 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, for the project for the university. They call Gama Filho University for Pedro Gama Filho. Uncle Pedro. Yeah. Man, he changed a lot of people's life.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Him, Carson, these 2 guys.
Influenced you a lot.
Those are the blackboards mentoring these kids,
Yeah.
right? A lot of us don't have family figures, don't have dads.
Yeah.
And these guys come in. This is our responsibility as well. You know, mentoring these guys.
That's what we were talking about in the podcast we had with Rodrigo as well. Is that I don't know if you guys realise how many lives you've affected over the whole time you've been training as well, right? So
And then how many of your students look up to you? They see you as the person they can go to trust.
That's right.
yeah.
Where they find
I like,
peace.
for me, you cannot stop jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you are, where you go, don't stop.
Yeah.
You know, don't, because it's really good.
Yeah, such a
Yeah.
positive
Yeah.
thing in your
If
life.
you overcome those obstacles and get your,
Yeah.
it's really healthy. And look, a jiu-jitsu professor, man, we're much more than just teaching fighting. It's much more. Look, we're a psychologist, we're a doctor, right? We're
Build a family,
helping the
community,
families.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys went to Rodrigo Caporal just had a competition in-house a few weeks ago.
Oh.
And we were there. I had one of my guys fighting, and one of the guys got thrown on his shoulder and it dislocated. And he's in pain. It never dislocated before. And I put in shoulders before just by watching other people, and I drain ears. I'm a doctor, right? Dr. Powers. Caporal's there, like I'm like, don't pull on it, because if you pull the wrong way, they're gonna scream. So, anyways, I put in a couple shoulders before, so the competition stopped. So I saw Caporal, watch, I'm going to put this in. We're laying here, how many times has come out? If it's been many times, it goes in much easier. It's like, it's first time, oh crap, we might have, I don't want to do too much because I'm not a doctor. So I don't want to, but you might have to go to the doctor. But when when I pull on it like this, I'm all feels better. He's like, yeah. If I let go, it's like, oh. So I'm like, all right, I'm all, Rodrigo, let's stand him up because I can't get it in, it's tight. And I'm all, Rodrigo, pull here. So what you do is you go here, like this, and then you pull up, boom, and and Caporal's strong, you know what I mean? All of a sudden it went, pop, it popped in. And he's like, oh, thank you. And it's like, all right, competition, keep going, right? But Caporal and I were doctors, right? And psychologically, all of this is such a wonderful thing to have someone mentor you like that, like Rodrigo, like Carlson Gracie. And now we're doing this, and here's what's so funny. I never considered this to be a career path as well. I asked him, I'm like, look, I never thought even doing martial arts. The only reason I started to fight is because I didn't like Brazilian surfers. You know why? Because in the 90s when I was surfing, they're very aggressive. They come to California and they'd be snaking. They didn't go by the rules. So for example, if I'm on a wave going this way, you can't cut someone off and go in front of them. And you would see someone paddling, like, they're going to cut you off. And I'm one of the younger pros, and like, this is my beach. We fight people. We throw people out of here for this. And these guys are like, dude. So one of my best friends almost got in a fight with one of the Brazilians, and he came to the surf shop 3 blocks away from basically Rodrigo's Academy today in Pacific Beach. Some Brazilian guy just, we're kids, we're younger. I was still a teenager at this point. And he wanted to fight me on the beach, but I don't know if he knew jiu-jitsu, so I didn't fight him. My buddy's big. I'm like, well, dude, fight him. You're like 6'3", dude. What's wrong with you? And so we all go down like a mob down to the beach, and in my mind I'm thinking like, I hope he's not there, and I hope he's not with his friends, because if they know jiu-jitsu, they're gonna break our arms, right? But we got our pride. We're teenage dumb kids. So at first I'm like, maybe I should learn jiu-jitsu, because these Brazilians are coming in strong. We got to fight them. You know what I mean? We love the girls, but the guys got to go. You know what I mean? We love Brazilian girls, and I'm married to a Brazilian today. So, but that's where it started. And then years later, I gave my life to God and followed Jesus with all my heart. Stopped all that, and then my youth pastor started me with Vitor, which is incredible. But I never considered a career path, and today, him and I'm really stressing to people more and more, consider jiu-jitsu as a career path. I make really good money to work 1 or 2 hours a day. And you know what I do the rest of the time? Anything I want to do. I'm writing a book, I'm doing the movies, I'm doing all this stuff. right? I'm creating new things.
Yeah.
And I'm doing something I love to do that's a passion. People appreciate you. I have too many students that are miserable in their job. They maybe took an early career path for money or whatever. That's like you, right? You were making good money in the finance world. It's just like, this is not my heart. And it doesn't mean quit your job and just, you start planning your escape.
Definitely plan first.
Chisel on the wall of your jail cell and your cubicle, in your car, and you start planning an escape. Take your free time, write down a plan, and then surround yourself with the people that you want to take that plan. So Ronnie is one of our champion blue belts. He just won the Copa de Hong Kong. Amazing. And we just did a promotion the other day, and he's going to be a purple belt soon. And I gave a speech. I said, you guys consider being a jiu-jitsu professor one day, because there's not enough black belts in the world. There's purple belts and brown belts around the world. They're running successful academies. Because purple belt level, you're already a professor, a low-level professor. And so I said to Ronnie, Ronnie, he's still young. He's supposed to go to university. Tell your dad I told him, Professor Mike said, you don't have to go to university. I'm going to be a jiu-jitsu professor, right? And I was just playing around. But the university today is not the career path for everyone. In fact, most people don't even use their diploma. What's going on here? It's an industry. And if you're going to be a doctor, of course you take that path of you need education. But with technology, there's so many opportunities coming that are here now, and 50% of the jobs you see today are not going to be here in 10 years. That's a fact. Algorithms are going to take it out, right? Biotech, all these things is going to take it out. I study a lot of future technology, and I do a lot of public speaking to the corporations and universities and churches and things like this. And I study a lot of Ray Kurzweil, at Google. He's running the ship. He's no quack. He knows what he's talking about. Michio Kaku, Elon Musk, these guys. And the things they're saying that are coming, you better prepare. And so I was in sales for so long, making lots of money. But I'll tell you something. That job, someone's going to take it. It's gone. Drivers, it's gone. You know what I mean? Flipping burgers. I worked at Burger King when I was 15. It's gone. We have to create something. So jiu-jitsu now as a professor is a legitimate career path. You might have been in finance making millions of dollars. Guess what? Algorithms are coming and you're gone. There's a good chance, right? Or you're not making the money you used to. Now, it's very hard for technology to replace a professor, because you're a mentor. Good. Go on YouTube and learn all you want. Go on the mat. Get your blue belt offline. You're a white belt. You're starting. You're a baby in my blue belt's hands.
There's definitely a lot of physical stuff the machines won't be able to do for a long time.
It's not.
And then like the psychological stuff as well, right?
Until they start cloning us, right?
There's no way you can put the USB in the computer and put the USB here.
Don't have the major.
It's super interesting you say that, actually, because there's always that idea when you kind of achieve that black belt status, you kind of think, do I want to be a professor? Do I want to open my own academy? And a lot of people, like you say, are in their jobs and they're not happy. But actually, jiu-jitsu, for me anyway, it takes me out of that daily grind. I am actually happy on the mats because I'm in a position where I'm uncomfortable and I like it and I have to overcome it. And like you said, you don't want to look up to obstacles. You want to see if you can.
And you forget everything. Right? You step here like.
You have to.
You have to. If you think about I have a problem. Sorry. You can. It's like you distract. You have to be there. But not only that, just the atmosphere. Like I think between martial art and we can say jiu-jitsu special, and they go to the gym because the gym is nice to be good for you too, right? But it's very boring. I don't like to go and lift weight and people had fun. You don't talk to nobody. There's no community, and community, and sometimes you need it. Sometimes some people, I think, of course, most come here to learn BJJ, but some people come to be a part of some kind of community.
Like we all hang out outside.
Exactly. Like we go every Saturday. We finish training here. We go to the Big Sir. We hanging out. Big Sir. Advertise.
Shout out, Big Sir. But it's more than just the martial arts, isn't it?
It's like
it's amazing.
A nice community, and people from here, people from our academy, and we get together.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's beautiful, It's the way jiu-jitsu is.
We have the team, right? The whole Revolution team.
Exactly.
So even if we're at different gyms, when we go compete, we compete as
part
one,
of the
right?
same.
Like I say, and when we go compete, it's nice to see even Caporal, Quinton. It's nice to see them. We all friends. But unfortunately, because we're busy here, they're busy. The time we don't have to to exchange, to talk, right? And
Always.
the time we go to competition, man, there's the time like we see each other, we see how they improve, support.
Yeah.
We don't rival, we are competition. We compete, but we help each other. Hey, look,
That's
you
the
come
point
here,
of
you don't like
competition,
it.
really, is to bring
Yeah, you
everyone
don't like
together,
it.
right?
It's also, it's the message of this. The reason why we do this podcast is just there are connections that you can establish around Hong Kong. It's just not about you and your academy. There's other places that it's okay to go and train with other people times, and you are all under the same umbrella, which is jiu-jitsu and helping people's lives, building communities, and this is what we're trying to achieve.
It's one big family, right? I mean, in life, you should be pursuing two things your whole life. Number one, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
Right? When you're a child, you see these kids, 5 years old. What do you want to be, son? I want to be a race car driver. Oh, it's hard, it's competitive, it's expensive. Then he goes to his career counselor. He's a little bit older in middle school. What do you want to do? I want to be a race car driver. No, maybe be an accountant. It's a race car driving's competitive. Then he goes to his next thing you know, this kid's an accountant.
Yeah.
Because it's a lucrative and it's pretty safe.
Making good money.
Why not say, look, let's go be a professional race car driver. If you don't make it, let's put you in the industry of that, so you're following your passion. So you should be following two things your whole life. Number one, what do you like to do? And number two, what are you good at or want to get good at? Imagine if you could write out the script of your life. There's no boundaries, no fears. What do you want to do? Isn't that what we should be doing?
Right.
Imagine how you can help the world if you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's helping me, these taxi guys. When I get in the taxi, he obviously hates his job, and I hate that he hates his job, and he's pissing me off. And it's sitting there driving like this, and I get in the taxi the other day. You guys get this? And I say, I'm going over to, I forget where I was. He goes, where's it at? I go, I don't know. It's your job, dude. Why are you asking me? And then I Google it, and he's like, I don't go on that side. I don't know. I get out of the car. I go to the next guy. I don't know where that is. I'm like, my goodness, I have the technology. Just drive 4 cars later, because I was going to do the Spartan race thing. It was a few days ago. I was teaching those guys, like, fighting stuff, you know what I mean? And
Sometimes
MMA.
they have like a 4 smartphone there.
Yeah, I'm like, you have to.
You don't have Google Maps there.
So this guy hates his job. I hate that he hates his job because he's not doing a good job.
Right.
Imagine if this gentleman had the right mentors. What are you good at? I like to design stuff on computers. Okay, well, let's do it. This is what government is supposed to be for. We're paying taxes for a reason.
Yeah.
Keep us safe, help us with the health, and help educate us. It's not happening. The corruption. Unfortunately, Brazil.
Yeah, exactly. The society is like Brazil at the time. My mom is like, jiu-jitsu, you don't work, you don't do jiu-jitsu. For her and her mentality, most of the people in Brazil have to work a secure job, have to work for the government in
It's
Brazil.
hard times, right?
Had to task. I make a test for the Brazilian bank, but under 18. That's why I have to pay my academy so I can support. Because she's like, I don't support your jiu-jitsu. This is another one. You do judo, you do football, you do this, you do there. And nothing. I'm like, okay, but this I like it. I'm like, I pay myself. I pay for that. And after I gotta like start teaching, help, don't need to pay anymore, then go up. But the mentality is like this.
Yeah.
You need to work for the government. You don't work for jiu-jitsu. It take a long time. Even before she like, just go to US, you go to Hong Kong, just go hanging out, come back. You don't have like, I'm like, what? No, like, it's like, it's funny,
It's
but
a legitimate career path now,
exactly,
and more as technology grows. So here's what's funny. I was telling Ronnie and Arjo, a couple of he's from India. India's wide open. There's so many places in the world you could go right now and make lots of money and build a legitimate academy.
Yeah.
The reason that Southern California is so popular, I mean, when I started, there's only 3 black belts there.
Yeah.
Now it's every world champion. Why? The most talented guys from Brazil, like, dude, I'm going there. So the good places are taken.
Yeah.
Hong Kong, this is going to fill up. This place is amazing.
Yeah.
There's already something like 15 gyms here where you can train jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
And
when
that all
we
came
first started,
from-
there's not much.
Yeah, from when.
And
Epic
there's so much
started.
money. And by the way, just any other black
change,
belts
right?
listening, I mean, you do PTs here in Singapore like nowhere. I mean, I now I don't do them anymore. It's because they're hard. But it's unheard of to do 50 PTs in a month.
Yeah.
At Epic, and when I left and all that stuff, the last
Make it
month,
easy,
I did
right?
50 PTs. You know how much extra money that is? Plus, like fitness, you can do them all day. All right, 1, 2, 3. They do tons. Jiu-jitsu, you're really fighting the guy. It's
You have
hard.
to.
But if you're getting a big salary plus PTs, like it's unheard of. So Hong Kong's going to fill up. There's money here, but all around the world, it's a legitimate career path, more than most career paths that people are doing. I got a marketing degree. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Get in line with everyone else. Communications, good. Get in line with everyone else.
Yeah.
How about study jiu-jitsu or something you love to do and get in there? You have to earn it, 100%, but it's legitimate, you know. And here's one more thing I just want to add on a more serious note. You're changing people's lives. You know, Professor Daniel and I, we when Epic went out of business, we went to FFG, and they built us a beautiful academy and had all these things and spent millions of dollars on all this stuff. And it was more of a local Chinese market. And one day, Daniel and I were teaching a beginner's class, and we had a student named, I'll call him Terry. They don't have to call him his name, Terry. And Terry came in, and he's an overweight Chinese boy. He's like 15 years old. And, you know, he's uncoordinated, overweight, pimples, you know, insecure. And his first month he was there, and he was doing good, though. And about a month after, in the locker room after, he came up to me and said, "Professor, do you know why I'm here in jiu-jitsu?" I said, "No, why?" He's like, "I tried to kill myself." Wow. I said, "You know, Terry, why did you do that? Why did you try and kill yourself?" I didn't do good on the, I don't know the name of the exam that kind of not even for college, starts getting you ready for college here. Yeah. I didn't do good on the exam, so I just realized, why live? There's no reason. He tried to hang himself a couple times. So his psychologist and doctor, he got put in the mental institution, said, "Look, you need to do sports or martial art or something." He said, "That's why I'm here." I immediately started to mentor him, Professor Daniel as well. I said a prayer for him right there. I said, "No, listen, you're a champion, okay? Let me tell you who you are." And I said, "Let me tell you something else. College and university ain't going to make you successful. In fact, let's Google right now top 10 guys that are successful that never finished university." I said, "Do you recognize that name? What's that name?" "Bill Gates." "Yes." "Do you see the next one? What's that name?" "Mark Zuckerberg." "Do you see the next one?" "Yes, you do." And I said, "You know who else never finished university? Professor Mike." I never went one day. I'd never been, I went one day, I said, to university. The day I went to San Diego State University, they invited me, about 23 years old, to talk to them about success. The American Marketing Association, 50 students, said, "We want you to come and talk to us about success." So I did a 45-minute speech on success. You know how I started it? I said, "You know what's really ironic about this speech? I'm coming to talk to you about success. Today happens to be my first day to university." So go figure, right? Yeah. So is jiu-jitsu a good career path? Absolutely. And with technology, this is my main point. It's not jiu-jitsu as much as technology. You better open your eyes. I study a lot of it. I know people very high up in technology, and to talk to these guys high up in the government. I know things I shouldn't know. Yeah. And so I have time. I study these things. And it's going to be a different world. Right now with biotech, you know, with biological type things, in terms of what's coming, I mean, I'm writing a script right now, a funny one, a little skit of jiu-jitsu's ruined. There's no more jiu-jitsu in 10 years because nobody taps. Why? And it's a little skit where there's a competition, and the guy's in an armbar full on, but he doesn't tap. And they just let their knees and arms break and all that because they go on the side between their fights. They do a stem cell injection, like, "Okay, I'm good for the next fight." So jiu-jitsu got ruined because no one taps. But then, so it goes to, you have to choke people out. At least you choke them. But now they have this little tablet that you can hold your breath for 3 minutes. So the whole thing is a funny thing, you know, something I'm writing. But the truth is, with technology and with all these things, the world is going to be different. And it's going to be shocking. And people say, "Look, computers aren't going to take my job." I say, "You're right. Computers aren't going to take your job. Someone that's better at the computer is going to take your job." Yeah. It's going to happen. Yeah. And so we're talking about UBI, Universal Basic Income. Have you heard of this? Yeah. So UBI is, in America at least, saying, "Look, we need to develop something. All these jobs are going to be gone. And you're going to have riots. People that were driving, people that were clerks and doing this stuff, you're going to have riots." So universal basic income is like you give them $1,000 or $1,500 a month to take care of their basic needs of rent or food and all this. But then you don't have ambition. You're going to have we have some problems coming. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu, believe it or not, saves lives. Look at Terry's life. Look at the jobs and stuff. Look, I have an amazing career. It's a very lucrative income. And I work a couple hours a day. The other times, I'm making money doing movies. I've done 6 major movies now. New stuff's coming. I just did a very advanced acting class last weekend, a workshop. And imagine him. He comes from Brazil, basically the ghettos. You know what I mean? There's not a. And look, he's in Hong Kong making incredible money, working a couple hours a day. It's incredible. I mean, so you never thought you'd do that?
Even Vitor's made it out to Asia now, right? He's signed with One FC.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Very recently, right? So
I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah, I think,
so
I think
all you
it's
guys
over, right?
have
We
done.
move Brazil, America, now we start coming Europe, Asia,
Yeah.
control the world. It's the idea, take the world.
Take it over, yeah.
We're gonna take over the world.
Slowly.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys so much for.
Nice,
Actually, it's so insightful. I'm super absorbed in your conversations, and well, definitely, like we say with most guests, we'll have to definitely get you back on. I'd love to see more about your book.
Yeah.
More about you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you, guys.
growing up in Brazil. Guys, check us out, episode 6. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Big thank you to Professor Mike.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Take it easy. Thanks, guys.
It was-
Thanks.